This episode of World Wellness Education is made possible by a production grant from the Milhorn Law Firm.
We at the Milhorn Law Firm believe that important decisions in planning should not be put on hold. These planning decisions affect not only you, but your children and heirs. My name is Eric Milhorn. I'm one of 7 attorneys here at the Milhorn Law Firm. We've been very fortunate. We've been able to serve the Central Florida area for a period of over 20 years. All the attorneys at the Milhorn Law Firm live in this area and are proud to call this area our home.
The Milhorn Law Firm, the law firm you know and trust.
Hi, I'm Tracy Brosman, co-founder of World Wellness Education, a community forum to educate, encourage, and inspire a better way of life. We commonly face day-to-day challenges of stress, lack of exercise, and poor eating habits. But with the right approach, we can find freedom. Wake up each morning feeling healthy, focused, and ready to take on the day. Together, we can make a difference, one story at a time. According to the American Cancer Society, over 232,000 women will be diagnosed this year with invasive breast cancer. Those that are diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer have less than a 15% 5-year survival rate. Our guest today, Mary Winchell, was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and she is here with us to share her healing journey. Welcome, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome, Tracy. I'm happy to be here.
Let's start with what made you think that something was going wrong with your body?
Well, about 2.5 years ago, I started getting tired, very tired, and I could go to sleep, never recuperate the next morning.
Did you feel like you had to take naps every day? Or
No time for naps.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going solid till about, maybe midnight, 1 o'clock. Get a few hours sleep and get back up and do it again the following day.
So you weren't getting a lot of sleep. Did you attribute that to being tired, or were you having difficulty sleeping? Was that part of the problem as well?
I did wake up, in the middle of the night a little bit. My daughter had a nighttime job.
Okay.
I was worried about that. It seemed like everything I was worried about. My mother was sick with Alzheimer's. And so I started in on this stressful roller coaster. Mm-hmm. My emotions were heightened. I know my adrenaline was heightened, and it seemed like I could never calm down. So I would say that, that probably attributed to me not being able to sleep really well through the night.
To get some rest.
Right.
And so you were exhausted.
Exhausted, yes. I had a lot on my mind.
Right.
My
stress.
daughter had a brand new baby.
Oh.
And that right there, I missed some sleep when I would take care of the baby.
Right.
But that was joyful. I'd just get up, and feed the baby and lie back down with the baby. So.
Right.
But again, though, it would take its toll on me later.
So besides being exhausted, what else were you feeling?
Anxiousness, anxiety. You know how you see a policeman on the side of the road and you slow down, you make sure you're going the speed limit.
Right.
Well, that initial little jolt, that would stay with me.
Okay.
And my heart would race and I couldn't calm down. And I thought, what is going on? And I would discuss it with the girls at work, and they would say, well, that's part of the change of life. I'm over 50, so it was like, okay, so all these things were happening that I had never felt before.
And everybody was saying that, this is normal.
Normal, yeah.
So when did you realize that it's not normal?
Well, when I started going to bed earlier and having a little less responsibilities for other people, and then it wouldn't...
and you were still exhausted?
I was still exhausted, and I could not catch up. It was just... You go to bed tired, you wake up tired. Wow. And there usually is, you wake up less tired.
Right.
But there was the same amount of tiredness. And I'd fight to go through the whole day and function properly.
Right.
And then I'd see myself forgetting things, which is, I hear, also part of aging, but
so that's normal too, right?
Extreme, right. Right.
Oh, and that's really hard when you're feeling bad and everybody's telling you it's normal. It's
normal.
Like, wait a second, I don't want, if this is normal, I don't want it. I don't accept it, right?
Right.
So what happened next? Did you end up going to a doctor, or did you?
Well, I went to a health practitioner, and he was certified to do a live blood analysis and an extensive analysis.
Okay.
And that's when I learned I had a lot of chemicals in my blood.
All right.
He could tell what shots I've had
through your
my
blood
life.
analysis, he was able to tell what shots.
Yes, what vaccines and everything that I've had. And he saw parasites in there. He actually showed me parasites in my blood, little worm-looking things moving.
That's not fun to be looking at, I'm sure.
No, the platelets. I had like spiked cell platelets. So, a lot going on in my body that was very unbalanced and not good for you.
So what did you start to do to get balanced?
So he said exercise.
Okay.
Which I'm tired. I didn't want to exercise. I did. I started on the elliptical machine at home for a little while, and I would do it. And finally, I just looked at it and I go, I just can't do that. I don't have time.
Right.
And so I would, walk every now and then or whatever, but it was a hit and miss kind of thing. So, it was not a routine. I was not in a routine. And then I ended up needing braces. And so my diet changed. I was eating real healthy, salads every day and everything.
Okay.
So once the braces hit, then I started eating soft foods.
Right.
More things like
Your teeth were a little sore.
applesauce and scrambled eggs and pancakes and things like that, which was not my usual dietary intake.
Right.
So
Now, I know
altered.
eventually you were diagnosed with cancer. What brought you to the doctors at that time?
I was taking a shower and I went to shave under my arm, and I do that,
That's
more
a
than
good
once
thing,
a
right?
week.
I'm sure everybody appreciates that, right?
Right. And I felt a lump, and I was like, oh, I know this is not a good thing.
Right.
So I felt around it, and it was about the size of a nickel. And so the next day, I decided I better call my GYN and get in there, because I hadn't had my annual in a couple of years, kind of let it go by, because I figured I was pretty healthy. And he was booked, so I decided, well, it might be serious. Let me get to a clinic, health clinic. So I went to the one by the hospital, and they thought, well, maybe it's just an infection, because they could move all the way around it.
Okay.
So, and they didn't feel like it was attached to anything. So, an infected lymph gland. He said maybe I nicked myself shaving and I didn't know it prior. So, he said, go ahead and go home and put some warm oil compresses on it. It should go down. And then
Did it?
the following day, I told my friend at work, and she said, you're going to make an appointment now, or I'm going to make it for you to go see your GYN. So to her urging, I went. And
Who's an angel.
The following week, yes, she is. And he got me into the mammogram that very week.
And
So
then the mammogram showed something that concerned them?
that did. They called me back 4 times to do that mammogram, and by then I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
It was swollen and red, and I didn't want to go through it again, but, being a trooper and just saying, okay, the doctor needs a better look. So I let her, keep going at it, and then they did a sonogram. And then the radiologist was called in to talk to me. He read it. He said it's suspicious calcifications and that I would need a biopsy, but to follow up with a surgeon.
Okay.
And so that's where they sent me from there to a surgeon, because that was my next step. And suspicious calcifications, we discussed it a little bit at work, and my boss said, that happens, it's nothing to worry about. But when I would call back to the girls in the office for like a copy of my x-rays and things like that to bring to the doctor, and they would go, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, what? You're so sorry? So I'm like getting, I was like
Yeah,
a little
somebody
bit
knew
mixed,
something, right?
a little bit mixed in my feelings, but still I didn't get excited because I thought, no, I'm testing my pH in my saliva, and it's all good.
So now you were diagnosed. What was your diagnosis?
I was diagnosed with infiltrating ductal carcinoma, and at the point I was diagnosed was stage 3 because the centimeters were 4.5. The size indicates, plus whether it's spread or not, 2.5 inch centimeter, and multiple infected glands, with the breast, the same cancer, breast cancer.
Wow.
So that was stage 3.
It's a tough diagnosis to hear at all, but let alone to hear that you're at stage 3 already.
Yes. And then I said, I don't want to stop there with the tests because I feel really bad. I had already lost 15 pounds, and I wasn't overweight to begin with. So,
Wow.
yeah,
No,
it
you're
was
tiny.
muscle. It was eating muscle. I could tell the muscle was going. My skin was sagging and aging really fast.
Right.
And prior to that, I would look in the mirror and I go, I look sick. I felt sick. I felt tired. So they did a PET scan, and it showed some excitement in my spine. And then they did an MRI after that, and that showed definitely that it wasn't a prior injury or anything, that it was going on right then and there, more detailed, I guess, with that MRI. And so they did biopsies. They did it of the breast first, and then they did it of the T9 vertebrae on my spine. And I went in the hospital with no pain and came out a little bit pained, but only for about a couple of weeks.
And what was the final diagnosis?
And it had spread to my spine and was eating holes in my spine. So.
And that was how long ago?
Time. That was in May of 2011.
Okay.
2012.
Okay.
We're in 13, yes.
Right.
2012.
Okay. So in May you were diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. At that time you had some decisions to make.
I did. My doctor, and I love him dearly, my oncologist, he's excellent. I don't know if I'm supposed to name names or not.
You can do whatever feels
Dr.
comfortable.
Hussein.
So if you loved him, if you don't love him, then maybe we won't name the names. So
All right, he's wonderful. He's wonderful. He never pressured me.
Okay.
And I told him how bad I felt before I even saw him. So when I did see him, I said, I have got to do something with my body because I feel like I'm full of poison. And if you are going to put more in there, I'm not going to make it.
With chemotherapy and radiation.
I'm not going to make it. So I said I would like to go down to West Palm Beach, which, you can ask me more about that. But yes.
So you went to Hippocrates, right?
I did.
And he honored your decision to do some research there?
He did, and he said, I'm going down to detox and clean my body out before I make a decision on anything. So he honored that. He said, okay. And I said there was a hormone blocker he could give me because mine was estrogen positive.
Okay.
Progesterone and HER negative.
Okay.
He said, I can give you a hormone blocker, but, it's best not to really fool around with that. You're at stage 4. So I said, please do that, and I want to go down and
so you got the hormone blocker.
So I did.
We've talked about Hippocrates on the show. Tell me, did you have any, even after you went to Hippocrates, did you end up having any chemo or radiation?
No.
Okay, so you've done pretty much this healing journey of yours has been more on the alternative or the natural.
Yes. Now I stopped the hormone blocker because it,
because
you're
that
advised,
wasn't alternate, or that wasn't natural.
So you're advised, not to stay, if you're going that route, fine. But if you're not, then, you need to. And I needed to prove it to myself. Not that I'm skeptical or pessimist, but that I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't relying on that as my crutch. So I stepped aside from that and went full into the natural.
What was, the hardest thing for you to let's say to learn and to really change, because we know that our lifestyles were probably play a big part in, you know, contracting disease, but also in the healing.
Right.
And it sounds like you were trying to eat well. I know that when you got braces, you said that you went downhill a little bit,
Yes.
but you were trying to eat well.
Right.
What was the biggest changes
Okay.
for you?
Luckily, I got my braces off 1 week prior to all this coming about, that I found the lump under my arm. So that's good, because raw foods in your braces, you know, it's more
makes it a
difficult.
little bit more difficult.
So I guess I was preparing for that and didn't know it. But the hardest thing, I think, for me to do was not so much the food, because, you know, veggie trays, I mean, sooner or later when you go to parties, even if you're not exposed at home, you're going to come across raw veggie trays.
Right.
You know, and usually people dip them in something, but I love salads.
Okay.
All different kinds. It was tough for me to give up pizza and chocolate and wine and coffee. I had all those little things that
you liked, yeah.
I was also a professional cake decorator, so I've been making wedding cakes for years and years. And of course,
Sugar.
you taste a little bit to
Yeah.
make sure everything is good.
Right.
And I love cooking. I love baking. And so it was a big transition, because now I'm going to have all raw food. I won't have any of those smells in my house.
So let's clarify that. When we talk about your diet, it was a dry, even though you were eating healthy, it was still a drastic change, right?
Yes,
Because
yes.
when we talk about raw food, that means no cooking over
Right.
a certain temperature, correct?
And no sweet. So you can't eat sweet potatoes when you're sick.
Okay.
You can't eat sweet potatoes. You can't eat carrots. No fruit. None of the things that you think and do have healing properties,
Right,
but you're
or
not going to
healthy.
implement them right now because you're curing a disease.
And what is the reason behind not having those sweets?
The cancer loves sugar,
Okay.
and you need to starve that cancer.
So that's what you're doing.
And I'm starving it, and at the same time you starve it, you alkalinize your body, and you put enzymes back into your body, in your enzyme bank, if you will,
Right.
in your body, which mine was all burned up from the high stress
Okay.
and not eating a lot of living foods.
Right.
You know, very limited on that, because they'd get stuck in the braces, and, you know, working and everything, it's hard to
Right.
get all that. So you had to, you know, eat on the run.
Right.
more or
It's a
less.
lot easier to eat a cooked food
Yes.
than it is something that's raw. So you made those changes.
Made
You
those changes.
decided to go cold turkey, right?
Right? No. By the way, I never got headaches from stopping coffee.
Really?
And I've been a coffee drinker all this time, you know, from the time I was 20.
Wow.
So that's a few years.
That's amazing.
And never got a headache from going cold turkey off that.
Being at Hippocrates, the other part of your healing journey, and I'm guessing, so I'm asking this question: did they help you with dealing with stress?
They do.
And rest and relaxation, because
They
it seems
do.
like that was a big part that was missing from your lifestyle before.
They do. They have group sessions of psychotherapy where everybody talks and tells their story,
Right.
how they got sick, and what their, you know, plan is. And and I've seen some amazing things happen while I was there in just a few short weeks.
How long were you there?
I was there 2 weeks.
Okay.
And within that period of time, I watched somebody go from a wheelchair to hobbling along with the cane, and she threw the cane down. She had severe fibromyalgia, but and it was real. Her husband was there, her son was there, and they were crying.
Oh, I
to
was
see
just
her
going to
progression.
say, I bet you there were some tears involved there.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
So-
And I've heard a lot of people come off a lot of medications
Right.
because of this natural detox.
And for you, what were they telling you? What did you learn that you were able to incorporate in your lifestyle to deal with the stress?
The
and to get
stress of it
rest?
was to go to a peaceful place and think of all good things.
Okay.
And they made a tape for me so that I could actually play it.
Okay.
And a CD and relax, de-stress. Yoga, they do
Okay.
yoga, stretching techniques. When people give you negative, which I have a lot of come across a lot of people that have a lot of negativity in
Okay.
their life, and they try to put it off on you
Yeah.
instead of absorbing it. You know, don't
to
listen
protect
to
yourself.
it. Yeah, don't listen to it. You need to walk away. It's
Right.
not even good to absorb.
Right.
So, you know, you just walk away from it.
And then what about your sleep? Did you learn to sleep more?
Yes, I actually, by detoxing and exercise, you sleep very soundly. I have no problems with sleeping.
So before you were
Very
saying
deep.
that you were only getting, it sounds like, a few hours of sleep
Yeah, maybe
a night.
5 hours a night, broken.
And,
Yeah.
and now, do you still just get 5 hours? I know
No.
some people thrive on different amounts of sleep.
I
Me,
get-
I'm an 8-hour person.
I'm
so-
an 8-hour person. I should be
Oh.
getting 8 hours. I get between 7 and 8 hours. They
Okay.
want me to get 9.
Oh, wow.
So they do. When you're healing, you need to get more.
Okay.
9 hours.
So, and now, how long has it been since you were diagnosed?
Late April
Mm-hmm.
of 2012.
Okay.
And so since I
So we're
immediately
about
went
16
on that
months
green,
or so, 15, 16
yes,
months?
yes,
All right.
into the program. So
And how are you feeling?
I'm feeling way better.
Wow.
So much better. The color's back in my face. I was gray. The color's back in my
Yeah,
face.
you're not gray anymore.
I've
That's a
gained
good thing.
6 pounds.
Wow.
Which is great.
It's hard to
Some
imagine
muscle,
you're so little still.
a little bit of fat, some muscle,
Okay.
and so it doesn't hurt to sit anymore.
And what do your doctors say?
And my doctor was amazed. They did, a few months into the program, have to ask what I was doing because my MRI had come back with nothing they could tell in the spine at that point. And that was like 2 months into the program. And I just had an MRI done, but I don't have the results back yet from that.
Well, we wish you the best of
I was
luck on
hoping
those
to have
results.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping to have that for you. But so, and the blood work that they do every month, and now they're doing it every 2 months,
Okay.
is coming back very, very well, very healthy.
Very
My
positive.
cancer markers are very low.
Okay, sometimes, and people probably have had the same experience I have, I know different now, but eating raw food, I mean, salads all the time, kind of boring.
That is.
So what do you do? Can you still enjoy
I can.
food? Can
Yes.
you still enjoy, I mean,
It's
even though
just
you're not able
another
to
frontier.
have the sugar and stuff, do you still, are you able to still satisfy that in some way?
Definitely. I actually make cookies, pie. Yes.
What?
I make almond butter cookies. I use stevia as a sweetener.
Okay.
I make
so you
key
can
lime
have
pie.
stevia even though
Yes. It
you're
comes from a
watching-
plant.
Okay.
Yes.
But berries come from a plant,
This
and
is
you can't
true.
have berries right now.
This is
so-
true, but it doesn't have, apparently it doesn't have that sugar chemical makeup.
Okay, that's going to affect.
Right, right.
Wow.
So stevia, I make the almond butter cookies. I make key lime pie out of avocados and
Oh.
lime. I can have lime and lemon because lime and lemon turn to alkaline when it gets
Wow.
into your stomach.
Well, that's absolutely amazing. Mary, thank you so much. And we're about out of time, but
You're welcome.
before we finish up, can you please just let people know how they can get a hold of you if they'd like more information or maybe a recipe?
Sure. They can get a hold of me at my email.
Okay.
Is mary@bescolights.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us
You're
and sharing
welcome,
your
Tracy.
story.
It's my pleasure.
Together, we make a difference, one story at a time. If you would like to find out more information about World Wellness Education, you can visit our website at worldwellnesseducation.org. Do you have any bad habits that you would like to replace with a healthier habit? I know that I do. And today, I challenge us all to pick just one bad habit and replace it with something that provides more value to our lives. I had done so well this year, working out 4 to 5 days per week. I was enjoying the extra energy and the strength of my body, and then life got in the way. I know that I'm not alone. There are many reasons why we fall off the bandwagon when it comes to getting healthy. One of the main reasons is that we don't make getting healthy a priority. Like I did, we let life get in the way. I don't have time to work out. I would rather be doing something else. This really needs to be done. I will eat better tomorrow. I will rest later. Do any of these sound familiar? It is easier to replace a bad habit with a healthy habit when it is routine. I even had my fallback workout, the one I could get through when I had to drag myself out of bed and put on workout clothes, muttering not so nice things under my breath. But then we moved and life got in the way. Today is a new day though, and it is time to start again. Here are 5 tips we can use to stop bad habits and develop habits that will help us reach the outcomes we desire. Number 1, acknowledge that you are selling yourself short. You deserve to have a healthy body, a body that is at its perfect weight, strong and perfectly well. Number 2, discover your why. If you are having difficulty breaking a bad habit, you need to examine why this is. What are the benefits for keeping things the way they are? What are the benefits of changing? Once you discover a stronger why that you want to develop better habits, it'll be easier. Number 3, make a plan. Let's face it, life will get in the way. When it does, you want to be prepared and have a plan with better alternatives. What will you do to stay on track when you have little time or when your willpower runs low? Planning for the good days and the bad days will help you stay on track. Number 4, stop stinking thinking. Negative thoughts about your body or your health can unconsciously prevent you from reaching your goals. They become a self-fulfilling prophecy and keep you on a roller coaster that you can only get off of by eliminating them. Replace these thoughts with thinking that will benefit you, such as, my body loves how it feels after working out. I am noticing positive changes as my health improves. If you have an illness, try focusing on a part of your body that is experiencing full health. Think about how that feels and how it will feel to be completely well again. Number 5, reward yourself for the small accomplishments as well as the big. Be careful with food rewards though. These often just set us back and create cravings that hang around long afterwards. Instead, think of small treats that will pamper you. Take an afternoon nap, get a pedicure or manicure, massage, play hooky for a few hours. Once you reach your ultimate goal, you should have a much larger reward. Go on a trip or buy yourself something special that you have been wanting for a long time. So break those bad habits today by acknowledging that you're selling yourself short, discovering your why, making your plan, stopping stinking thinking, and rewarding yourself for small accomplishments as well as big. This information is not meant to be medical advice. No action or inaction should be taken solely on the contents of this information. Instead, you should consult appropriate health professionals on any matter relating to your health and well-being. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can catch this show each week on Lakefront TV. To find out more about World Wellness Education, check out our website at worldwellnesseducation.org, and we'll see you next time.
This episode of World Wellness Education is made possible by a production grant from the Milhorn Law Firm. Have you or a loved one ever suffered an injury due to the negligence of another? Then it's time to turn to a law firm that you know and trust, one with a record of client satisfaction and integrity. Hello, my name is Ryan Milhorn, and the Milhorn Law Firm has been representing personal injury clients in the Central Florida area for over 20 years. Our attorneys live in this community and are very proud to call it home. The Milhorn Law Firm, the law firm you know and trust.